What's up, resellers? I'm Rebecca, and you're watching Rebecca the Reseller. Thanks for joining me today for another great Poshmark closet review. I always love doing them. I'm happy when people trust my opinion enough to see what I have to say as I review their closet. And this one is for Stacy. I'm very excited. And she actually wrote something specific here, and I am going to just kind of briefly mention. She said that she's been a full-time reseller for 3 years. eBay is her main platform, but she's been working really hard on Posh and has just found it to be difficult. She thinks she's hitting on all of the right things, like relisting or listing 10 items a day, sharing at least twice a day, doing good photos, following new people, and having competitive pricing. And she's still kind of hit a wall with her sales. So she's looking forward to seeing what kind of suggestions I have, and I have some. So let's go ahead and go through her Poshmark closet review. And if you're interested in getting one for yourself, you can go to my Etsy store. It's linked in the description below, and you can purchase either a live one that I would do for you, where you get a spreadsheet, whoops, where you get a spreadsheet and a video, or you can go through a DIY closet review where I've basically put together like a guide and you just go through and do your own closet review yourself. So you can do it either way. So let's go ahead and check in with some of the basics that I usually do at the beginning, and that's the closet name field. So she has an exclamation point, and she calls it August and Olive, and then her username is slance1128. So completely up to you. You may want to adjust your username to match the brand, which I guess is August and Olive. It doesn't really matter. Some people are more into branding than others, so it's completely up to you if that's something you'd like to do. If you are trying to do the exclamation point thing to get your closet to show up higher in people's followers lists, you're going to need more exclamation points. So go ahead, see if you can Google, how or when, or just look at other people's examples and copy and paste their first and last name basically into yours, and then that's how it will work. Your banner looks good. It's just kind of an ocean, so it's nice and plain. My thing with banners is as long as it's not detracting, it's fine. It doesn't need to be anything specific. So that's great. You do have, so you may have watched one of my videos, or maybe you just did it yourself, but you have I ship same or next day on there. That's great to let people know. That way, when they do happen upon your closet, they're able to see that you are active and that you ship same and next day. I may also suggest, just to add a little bit of buyer confidence, you may want to add the number of items that you've sold. So like in mine, I think it says like 6,800 plus sold. And so that just kind of lets people know that you're an active seller, that you've sold a lot, you know what you're doing. So you may want to add that because you should have some more room in that line. Your avatar is a beautiful picture of yourself. You look great. So that's awesome. It lets people know that they're buying from a person. So I love that. You look beautiful. There's no link here, so perhaps you don't have an Instagram or anywhere to send them, and that's okay. If you don't have anywhere to send them, then don't. That's totally fine. If you should ever get into where you have a social media for your closet, then you definitely want to add that. So it looks like I did the review yesterday and I'm recording this today. So when I did the review, you had 1,276 listings. Now you're up to 1,281. So you added 5 listings. Okay, so 5 listings is fine. So whether you just listed or new ones or you relisted, 5 is kind of what I did for a while. And I was still making in the thousands by doing 5 a day. Everyone is different. We all have different items. We all have different strategies. So you can't compare. But I think 5 is really the minimum when you're trying to be consistent and make more than a few $100s, in my opinion. I think you can't do any less than 5. If you can push it to 10 or more, that's great. If you can't keep that up all the time, that's okay too. You can do what I call sprints. So if your marathon is 5 a day and you can always consistently do that, and then let's say every couple days you're able to add 25, that's okay. Or if you like to be consistent, do your 5, let that go for a week, then, 5 a day, and then bump it up to 7 a day and do that for a week, and then do 10 a day and do that for a week, and slowly trick yourself into getting faster by basically allowing yourself to sneak in those extra listings. And before you know it, you will have doubled or tripled how many you're doing, but it's almost basically taking you the same amount of time because you've done it slowly but surely, and you kind of trick yourself into doing it. And I found that whatever time you allot yourself, you're going to fill it up. So if you allot yourself 30 minutes to take photos, whether you're taking 5 photos or you're taking 10 photos, it's going to still take you 30 minutes. So it's just something to think about. If you can trick yourself into a little bit more production each time, you may be able to increase that production. And of course, that will lead to hopefully more sales. So because you're at the 1200 mark, I would say let's look ahead to getting your all-time listings to 2000. That'll give you something to look towards, something to reach for. It's far enough away that you're not going to just hit it, in the next 2 days. And it's something that you'll be able to kind of have on the horizon. I like milestones. For me, that's motivating. So if that does that for you, I hope, that will help you give you some reason to keep going. As far as your shares go here, I'm always torn. Usually when I review a closet, the person has way too many shares. Here in your case, I think you have just a few. Maybe you did it enough to get Poshmark Ambassador or something like that. And I'm not normally a big proponent of community shares, but I do think if you are meeting all of your other sales generating activities like listing, like revising, like sharing, sending offers, bundling, if you're doing all of those things, running promotions, and you have some mindless time where you can spend doing some community shares, I don't think it would hurt. I only think it would help, because for those that do return the shares, it starts to open your network up. And, while shares don't necessarily lead to sales, you never know where that network will lead you. And so if you're looking for something else to do to help yourself, I think community shares can help, but only after you've done all the other things. Same with followers, and we'll get to that here. So you have 50,000 followers to 15,000 following. This is usually the opposite of what I see in a closet review. Usually it's way more people that the person is following to their followers, meaning that they are following constantly people so that they will get more followers. And I tell them, don't do it too much. Do it. It's a good thing. Same like community shares, but put your oxygen mask on first. Do all the sales generating things that you need to do for your business. Then you can add following. Then you can add community shares. And so with you, yours are less. And so you're probably just relying on the followers that you're getting, and you will just get them from sharing, from listing. They're just going to be people that follow you. But I do think that some following can be helpful because, again, it widens your network. It just kind of introduces you to more people. You never know who those people are going to be. And so having a wider network can be helpful. So you said that you are following new people. So I think that's good. And probably the best bang for your buck. I don't know which new people you're following. There's 2 places you can follow on the app: Just Joined or Fresh Closets. And I fluctuate between both when I'm doing following. So if you're not doing both, I would tap into both of them. And just set a number for yourself. I'm going to follow, 100 a day, or, every Saturday I'm going to just go crazy and do a huge follow spree. I always love doing it, if my husband's driving and we're in the car, like it's an easy, mindless task. There's just random times you can find to fit it in. So following is good. And I do have a video on that, and it's linked in your summary. And for those that are watching, it's probably linked down below. And you can see how to increase followers as well. Last active. So I did not check it since I just hopped on now. Last active this hour. So right now I'm recording this at 6 in the morning. So you have been active at this time. So maybe you're sharing right now or you're listing right now. So that's great. When I looked at it the last time, you were active recently as well. So that's great that you've been active. If someone looks like looks at that, it lets them know that you're around. It gives them confidence. Your love notes here, are great in quality and quantity, so that's good. Your average ship time is perfect. It's at 1 day. That's great. That helps out for sure. So nice job on getting your packages out quickly. And so I saw here that you've been a Posher since August of 2013. That's awesome. That actually you may be one of the older, and I don't mean that by your age, but the longest Poshers that I've done a closet review for. Now, I know that maybe you started and stopped with it. Maybe you didn't always take it seriously. It says that eBay is your primary platform in your note to me, so I'm not making any judgments. But I know that someone may look at that and say, okay, she's been on the app for a long time. If they should happen to think about it, why does she only have 86 love notes, or why does she only have 1,200 listings or whatever? I don't know if people pay attention to that or not, but congratulations on being on the app for a long time, way longer than me. That's awesome. And I think with some of these tips, you're going to be well on your way. So for closet signs, you have a few signs. Let's see here. I don't know if we're going to see any of them. They were not at the top. And so that's my main point, because I did scroll all the way down and you had several closet signs, which is great. One was about offers, one was about a sale, but they weren't at the top. Oh, and then you do have like this post to bookmark my closet. That's great. That should be at the top. So I do want to talk about this. First of all, I think some signs can be sprinkled throughout your closet. Like if you have multiple signs telling them about bundling items or something like that, those can be sprinkled throughout. So that's fine that these are in the middle, but they should be in different places in the middle. Then, like this post to bookmark, that should be at the top. That should be your very first post all the time. That way, people will see it when they first enter your closet. They can easily like it. Like at this point, no one's liked it, probably because it's all the way shoved in the middle of your closet. So if you put it at the top and you share it along with all of your other items and it's always at the top, that's going to be good. I don't know what else you have in here. I ship same or next day, so that's good. Again, so you have some bundling, so you mentioned the bundle there. Like I said, I would also put, that I package with care. I'm a professional seller. I've sold X amount of items, add all of that stuff so that the people can get an idea if they do happen to take a look. I mean, not everybody's going to take a look, but I think the sign is cute. It's just, with the pink and everything. So just put it at the top of your closet is my big opinion on that. If you have like the sale that you have, bundle 3 items under 20 and make an offer, that's great. You have it mentioned in your bookmark, so that's good. If you want to post that sign in my Facebook group, it's Poshmark Deals and Sales, and it's just a place for sellers to post their promotions and for buyers to go and find current sales. So you're more than welcome to put that there. The link is in your summary. And for those watching, if you have a sale, the link is down below and you can post it in that Facebook group for people to find. The other thing would be, I don't know, so if it's under $20, so like let me click on this Talbot's top. You could also add that sign to the photos of the items to which it applies. So if you're doing it for all the items that are under $20 and they can bundle any 3 and offer 30, you could put that sign as one of the photos in this item. That way, when they're looking at this item, they're alerted to the fact that this item is on one of your promotions. You could also put it in your listing description, and you could also put it in your title. I'm not a big fan of putting it in the title, but you could. We're going to talk about your descriptions later, but you can put it in your description as well, a little line that says, this item is part of my bundle sale, whatever. But right now, I'm really a big fan of putting the sign for the promotion in all of the listings as a photo. To me, that is really good. The other thing I put in your summary here is about a hashtag. I've mentioned this from time to time for people, so consider creating a closet sale hashtag. So your hashtag would be whatever you want to call it, because you don't have a branded closet name. So it could be like hashtag slance1128 sale, or hashtag August and Olive sale, or whatever you want to put. And that way you can add it to your listings. You make a sign telling people, if you want to see all of my items that are on sale, type this hashtag into search. And so all I have to do is go up to the top here and what did I click? And type listings, and then put the hashtag in there, and all of the listings that you have with that hashtag will come up. And that way they can see everything that's on sale and filter it from there instead of going through your entire closet. I do think that Poshmark now is rolling out in closet search features soon. It hasn't happened yet. And so when that happens, perhaps that process will look differently, and they would be able to just search that hashtag in your closet or something like that. Let's see. So yeah, put the closet signs up. And then I do have in your thing here, if you want to make any other closet signs, although it looks like you know how, I have a link of my video on how to make closet signs for you. Then product mix, brand, and size. Sorry guys, I'm just, it's morning. I didn't sleep well last night, so I'm just kind of like low energy today. I do apologize, but overall, I put that you carry basic bread and butter brands, which is fine. Try to specifically source for more home run, high end items. Now, I will talk about this more when we talk about your solds, but it seems like you actually have a lot of high end items, and those are the ones that are selling. So when I was going through your closet, I'm like, you know, she's got some good stuff, but nothing like crazy to write home about. I didn't see anything where I'm like, oh my God, she's got some amazing things. And so but when I looked at your solds, I'm like, oh, there they are, they sold. So I think you're on the right track. And we'll talk about it in your sold when I get to the sold section. You have some good items and they're selling, and that's what you want. So we need to talk about your available listings, because maybe you're picking up too much of the filler stuff. Maybe you're picking up too much of the bread and butter that isn't selling and it's weighing down your closet. Maybe you need to come up with some clearance strategies beyond Poshmark, and obviously you sell on eBay, so that you can still get rid of these items. Like if you have a local closet, local buy sell trade store like a Style Encore, you could pack up some of these items and take them there and see if they'll buy any. You could send some to Thread Up. You could do a lot of different things. Sell, gather up all size large and put it on Facebook Marketplace as a small clothing lot. So there's a lot of things that you could do to kind of bulk get rid of some of these listings that are maybe just here weighing down your closet. Build your brand knowledge by watching haul videos and what sold videos. And I have that in there, and I don't mean to insult you because you've been doing this a long time and you said that you are a full-time reseller. So I'm not trying to insult that you don't know what the good brands are. Maybe you just have trouble finding them in your area, in which case it could be a sourcing issue. And I would recommend consider sourcing on Poshmark to resell on Poshmark. Consider sourcing on ThreadUp to sell on Poshmark. Paying up for certain key items that are well researched and proven to be sellers and can sell for a high dollar amount, that's worth it. So it's up to you. I don't know what your sourcing model looks like, but that's something to consider. Let's see. Yeah, I just put in here, challenge yourself to try to get more high-end brands. And again, I do this section before I get into the solds, and that's where I saw a lot of your better stuff. So I apologize. You have a great selection of items from all types of occasions and styles. So as far as having a diverse closet, I do think you're hitting on a lot of marks. I will say that it was really heavy with tops. Hold on, I think I skipped one. Really heavy with tops. I didn't see that many dresses or jeans in comparison. So you do have dresses, you do have jeans, but in comparison to the amount of tops you have, that's something to think about, or sweaters, or, just as you go from season to season, do you have enough of what people are wanting at that time, or do you just have a lot of stuff that you've picked up, but it's not necessarily what people are wanting at that time? So I thought if you could level up on brands, but then also try to diversify in your categories a little bit more and focus on building out, rounding out some specific categories, that might be good. Also, I did think a lot of the items were basic, and with that, it's hard for me to kind of explain exactly what I meant. I just mean that there are not a lot of keyword heavy, very specific, notable things about the items, like a J. Jill wherever striped tunic medium. Someone may be searching for a navy blue J. Jill long sleeve top, but maybe not. And there are so many of it. Is there anything in particular about that that you can use in a keyword, like whether what it's made of, or that the fabric is of something of note, like whether it's linen or Pima cotton or cashmere for sweater time or silk, soft surroundings, giraffe, animal print tunic top. Like that's cool because, somebody may be searching for giraffe and you have animal print, but maybe you can put some other words that go along with it. So just a lot of, you have good keywords, and we'll talk about that in your description area. It's just a lot of basic things that I feel like if they had more distinguishable qualities to the items, you would maybe be found in search more amongst the sea of things. And we'll also get to that in a second when we talk about sharing. So again, I know it's hard right now because we want to have like loungewear and we want to have activewear and what people are looking for. But at the same time, I also feel like a lot of us are weighed down in our Poshmark closets by a lot of basic items. So it's something I struggle with too. I see it a lot. It's not just you. But I thought it was worth noting just to kind of give you a perspective to think about. Perhaps there's some different sourcing that you might want to look into. I didn't see any prohibited items. So photo presentation, your cover shots look really, really good. Overall, they're bright, they're clean, they're clear. There were a few where I thought, I don't know if you're tall or what. It looked like they were angled down at the listing, which threw me off a little bit, but you have the nice, white background. And like I said, everything is bright and clean and clear. They all look hung up well. So I thought that was nice. There were a couple pairs of pants that looked like they were kind of hanging a little funny. So I don't know. I know sometimes plus size pants are difficult. You want to make sure that those clips are pulled as tight as you can, but you may want to look into a different hanger or something like that for pants, because I saw a few of them just kind of looked like they were droopy. In the detail or close-up shot, so you were taking enough photos, but in the detail or close-up shots, I didn't think you included enough white space around them, and I think that throws people off. I'm a big fan of white space, and on your cover photos, they look good. But when you dig in, I don't know if let's see. Like they're just like, so like this detail, I don't know if you're trying to show me a stain or if you're trying to show me the detail. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at in this photo, and that throws me off. And so I don't know if other people feel that way or if it's just me. Like the back one is fine, your tags ones are fine, your front one is fine. It's the close-up ones, there's no perspective. So what I usually do is, the whole front like you have and the whole back like you have, but in the middle, I have the top half. So there's white space around the top and you're just seeing the top half. Then I have the bottom half and there's white space around the bottom. If there's any other details that you want to show them, then you can do close-ups of those. And then on the back, I do pretty much the same thing. If it's just a basic plain back like this, I don't take 2 shots of that. If it's a dress, then yes. And so you may want to try that in your photography system, because like I said, I wasn't sure what you were trying to show me there. And so if I'm a buyer, I may be confused or I may be concerned that you're showing me a flaw that I don't see, or I just don't know what to make of it in relation to the white space around it. And so I get confused. So again, that could just be me, but it is a thought that I had. And now we have 16 photos. You have plenty of room to put as many photos as you want. So as long as I think you show perspective and some white space and it's kind of standard, I think that would be helpful. And then I've been recommending this more and more. So search for one of your items, like go and search Land's End pink striped top size 2. Go ahead and search that and see what other items come up in and around your item. Does your item even come up? How far up does it come up? Because that's going to be based on when you shared it, which we'll talk about later. And what do the other ones look like in comparison to yours? Like I said, I think your cover shots look really good. So I can't imagine that if you did a side-by-side comparison with other listings that yours wouldn't look good, but it's just a great way to kind of see how you stack up against other people that are selling similar items, because that's what the buyer is seeing. So I would highly recommend doing that for a handful of items and just see what you think. Okay, so lighting, I have nothing to note on lighting because I thought your lighting was great. They're clean, they're bright, it looks good, nothing to say there. You're taking a good amount of photos per item, and with the proper features like I mentioned. So I think it's just the matter of perspective on some of those detail shots. Pricing, I thought overall your pricing was actually good, possibly a little high on some of the very basic brands. I saw some American Eagle, some Crown and Ivy where I was like, oh, okay, little high. But again, I don't know what your offer to liker strategy is. I don't know what your price drop strategy is. So that's just on the front value of it. But if I'm a buyer and I see your American Eagle, whatever, priced a little rich for American Eagle in comparison to all the people that are just trying to get rid of their American Eagle, that's something to consider as well. Like it's okay to have premium pricing on a lot of brands because it's that kind of brand and that kind of buyer. But for American Eagle, it's so out there, it's so saturated, and you don't know what someone else is going to have versus you. You may both have the same pair of jeans side by side, and there's 15 and yours 28. Like, I wouldn't put an offer on yours when that person's is 15. I would just buy it. So that's something to consider for brands specifically, especially some of the maybe geared toward younger or more saturated brands, that kind of thing, or like house brands and stuff. Next, so your titles overall were strong, a good order, good amount of keywords in your titles, the right kinds of keywords. I do recommend that you just try to work on your formatting a little bit. I feel like when it just looks like you've just typed it, it doesn't stand out amongst other listings. So like here for the soft surroundings, soft is capitalized, surroundings is not, giraffe is capitalized, animal is not, print tunic top is not. So it just kind of looks like you threw it up there and didn't care enough to capitalize all the first letters of the words. That could just be a personal pet peeve preference of mine. So I point it out because it is my opinion, but it may be something that you want to take a look at as far as just making your titles look as crisp as you can by having all of the, because it is a title. So usually in a title, all of the first words are capitalized. The other thing is you have these dots, which I think is probably, an emoji or something, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe it's in, I don't know if it's on the, I just do, if it's on the keyboard, but I think it's distracting. Like it takes up a space. So I don't know why you just don't have a space. Again, it could just be my opinion. I don't think it does anything for you. I think it looks odd. So that's just my thought there. You can definitely add more keywords to some of your titles, but I think most of them, because you're an eBay seller, you're pretty good at keywording them. So I'm not too worried about it. I think it's more in your description, which we'll talk about in a second. So I do think that works out really well. But for those that are watching, if you are having trouble with keywords, I have a keywords list digital download in my Etsy store, and I've had some really great feedback on it. It has over 400 keywords. So I don't think that you need it, Stacy, but for those that are watching, if keywords are a problem for you, that might be something you want to take a look at. And that's linked in my Etsy store. So description, this is where we need some work. Let's click in. So, okay. So here, ND, New Directions blouse, white with turquoise, blue, and coral floral print. Oh boy. Crochet, lace trim down front, tie at neck, snag on sleeve, see photo. So there's a couple things here. One, it's a great description in that you tell all the details. One of the people that I love to follow is Chris at Daily Refinement, and he always says, describe your item like there's no photos and take photos like there's no description. And even I have trouble with doing that. I think you did a great job at describing the item as if there were no photos. That's awesome. But I don't think that that's the only thing that needs to be part of your description. And it could be because in Poshmark, your description is searchable, whereas on eBay, you have a lot of item specifics that you're able to click in. And so all of those help your item in search, and maybe that's what you're used to. But all of the things that you would have put in eBay as an item specific, where it's a drop down selection, those should be put here. So let's see. I don't see long sleeve. I don't see what the, fabric is. Um, let's see. You've got floral, you've got crochet. Is it crochet or is it embroidered? I don't know. You could potentially use, boho, um, split neck, perhaps it looks like, and flowy, maybe. So there are some other keywords that you could add in here that might help it get found in search. So I think adding more keywords to your description will help. You have your measurements, which is good. And then your line at the bottom, check out my other listings and bundle for discount. I'm not a fan of that line. I'm a big fan of a buyer confidence line, which is something like offers welcome, like for price drops, I ship same or next day, packaged with care, professional seller, all of those things that I talk about. If you want to watch some of my other closet reviews, you'll be able to see, and I did a whole video just on boosting buyer confidence and creating a listing template. So those are linked as well. I think there's more that you can do with your description, not only to describe the item, to get the item found in search, to provide a positive, happy reading experience here in the description, whether it's organized more like a form or whether it's written with words and sentences as a description that's more flowery. And then I think you need to add a line at the end instead of saying, check out my other listings and bundle for a discount. That's just kind of very generic. I think you should put a line about your item will ship same or next day. I'm a professional seller. Feel free to offer, offers are welcome, heart for price drops, all those kinds of things. Bundle for an additional discount. You can definitely add that in. And that way it just gives them a lot of that information. I also have a photo that I made that's a sign that I put at the end of my listings in the photos that says all of those buyer confidence things as well. So not only do I have it written in my listing, but I have it in the photos also. But continuing to go on for description, I just think that they're a little short and you can put more information in there that primarily would get the item found in search. Then I think you have no line whatsoever about the condition of the item. And while, yes, they can see nothing looks off about the shirt, you need to write it. You need to say excellent condition with no flaws, good condition with a pill on the back or whatever. Like here, you wrote snag on sleeve, see photo. So I'm assuming, is this the photo? I don't know which photo. Oh, here, maybe this one. So it's great that you're disclosing it. It's great that you're showing it in photos. It's great that you're mentioning it. But I think you should still, because I happen to just pull this one up, I think you should still, on your regular listings that don't have a flaw, make a line about the overall condition. And in the ones that I clicked in, I didn't see that. So maybe it was just the ones that I happened to click on, but you definitely want to make some general comment about the condition. Now, I also think, and this is my opinion, and it could just be my stage in the game. If you've bought something and then you find out the snag later, okay, it is what it is. You want to do your best. I'm kind of over selling flawed items. I just find a way to get rid of them. I don't even bother listing them anymore because I find that unless it is the world's greatest Tory, like I've sold Tory Burch with flaws, I've sold some other things with flaws that are very high end and sought after, then yes, people are willing to take it even though there's a flaw. But for just a basic New Directions top, why would they buy it flawed at $18? I mean, I think that's a high price for a basic brand that has a flaw. And I mean, that's just my opinion. You might sell these kinds of things all the time, but I just don't know. I think that's some trouble there. So you may, and I'm saying all these things not to be overly critical or nitpicky, but just to maybe open up some perspective because I think we get very involved in our listings and don't always think about what the buyer is thinking. You know, if I fell in love with this blouse and I clicked into the listing and then I realized something was wrong with it, then I'd look at the price and I'd say, okay, for 10 bucks, maybe I'd deal with the fact that there's just, I mean, this is just a little snag. It's not anything major. Would I still wear it? Yes, but not for 18. Now I'm in a situation where am I going to send an offer to this person or not? If someone reads the description and sees that there's a flaw, they might just click out of your listing. So they're not even going to get to the offer point. Someone may see New Directions $18 and never click into your listing because they think that that's a crazy price. So, this is just my thought, just my opinion, but I do like to bring up different perspectives for people that are very close with their items. You've done a lot of work in finding it and photographing it and all of it. I totally recognize that. But we're talking about trying to get sales. So these are some of the things I think about. Um, so I didn't see measurements in all of the photos or in all of the listings. So I see it here. Maybe this is a newer item, a newer listing. And so for some you didn't, but there were definitely a handful of items that I clicked into that I did not see any measurements. So I would highly recommend measurements in all of your listings. It's important. It helps them decide to buy. Our goal is to give a buyer every reason to buy and take away all the reasons for them not to buy. So that's my thought on that. I already talked about the description, buyer confidence information, consider a line about her for price drops, all that stuff. Okay, sold. This is where I wanted to really go to. Okay, because I was excited when I saw this. Okay, so you've got Gymshark, $22. You've got Crown and Ivy at 15, an Old Navy jacket at 17, so on the lower end. You've got Sundance at 21. You've got the boots at 28. You've got, you've got a lot of Lululemon selling. Lauren James jacket, 25. These leggings are 32. The Lululemon is 35. Like I just went through these and there's even some more sales than when I saw them last. Your Everlane coat, 45. Like you've got some great sales. That's where you need to be. You need to be selling those things. No bull. I saw a lot of that. Those are 85. Like the things that are selling are the things you should be carrying if you want to make more sales. You have a lot of other things. Stop buying those things. So, I mean, and again, this is me at the point in my journey where I'm like, it's not worth it for me. Like, I don't carry any Old Navy anymore. I don't grab it. I would not grab Crown and Ivy. I saw a lot of that in your closet. I'm kind of super picky with my Under Armour. So there's just a lot of things that I don't deal in anymore because they are oversaturated, because there's nothing very keywordy or distinguishing about them, because life is short and I'd rather make $30 or $50 on a Lululemon item than have to carry 8 and 10 Crown and Ivy items to sell 3 of them for $10 a piece. So I don't know if that's a direction that you're going, but I do think that you probably are like, I'm doing all this work, I have all these items, why am I not making the sales? And it's because your good items are selling. And and everything else is at the bottom weighing down your closet. So that doesn't mean that everything that you have won't sell, but you see the things that people want here. And I mean, like 15 for Avenue, that's about right. Um, 15 for the Crown and Ivy, that's about right. 17 for the Old Navy, that's right. I mean, they will sell, but they're not going to sell for a lot, and you're doing all this work. Let's see. No. Are you going to find Everlane every day? Maybe not. But your Anthropology skirt, even Ann Taylor, that's good. Ideology. So, I mean, you have some good stuff. The good stuff is selling. So that tells me that you are finding the right things and you are able to make the sales. I think you need to do more of those things and not be so worried maybe about having so many items or filling it with items that are basic. Um, so I was really encouraged by seeing your solds because at least we know that you've got some good stuff going on there. Now, when I checked, let's go back to available. Oh, available, whatever. Let's see. So this was updated an hour ago, which is great. And I've been almost talking for an hour. So there we are. So you were probably just sharing when I checked it on you before. So this must be the time that you share. When I looked at it the other time, it was 11 hours. Oh, my battery's going to go. 11 hours since the last share. So you said in your note to me that you shared 2 times a day. I think that's a big part of your problem. I think you need to share at least 3 times a day, if not 5 times a day. 3 to 5 is where you need to be because your items are not going to be showing up in search even if you have the right keywords if they're not shared recently. So if someone searches for J. Jill top, yours is not, yours now will come up higher because it's been shared within the last hour, but it's not going to come up 4 hours from now when other people are constantly sharing their items. So I think the sharing for you is probably your biggest problem. And then the descriptions are probably your next area of concern, where you can really fill out your descriptions more. That will really help. And then I think sharing more often will dramatically boost your sales. And if you can't do it, hire someone to do it. Hire a teenager in the area, hire one of your kids if you have one, hire your mom, like hire somebody that you trust that you can have share for you one extra time. If you just add one extra time, I'm sure it will be worth it. And if you can't hire someone right now, really challenge yourself to squeeze in one more extra share a day of your whole closet, spaced out throughout the day, and and try to see if that impacts your sales because I think that it will. And there's a reason why sharing is a part of all of this. And it's because you have to get your item in front of people and it has to show up higher in those search results. So I didn't see any unanswered questions. You have a 15% bundle. I do 20%. That's neither here nor there. So that just kind of leads me to my final impressions, which I kind of already said. Like, I think overall your closet looks great. You can tell that you're a professional seller. Like I said, your photos look good, your keywords look good. There's just some minor tweaks that I've mentioned. I think that because you're an eBay seller, you're used to the item specifics. And I think if you can translate some of those item specifics into Poshmark as written words in your description, that will dramatically help because there's more keyword ability that will be found for you. And then you can just make the description a little more pleasant for the buyer by including a nice buyer confidence line, as I've said, including a note about conditions. Like even here, this doesn't say anything about condition. That's important. And then I think sharing at least one more time in the day. I'm so sorry. And then sharing descriptions. Did I say something else? I don't know. That's it. Yes. So, if you don't have an additional strategy beyond sharing and listing, like if you're not utilizing more promotion, do the promotion, put that everywhere so that way you can get rid of some of those lower end items. Run your promotions, sending out regular religious offer to likers, bundle for people. Like all of these things work in tandem. You can't just rely on one of them alone. I think the sharing will probably give you the biggest impact. I think fixing your descriptions will give you the second biggest impact. But if you're not already doing more promotions, promoting the promotions more, sending out consistent religious offer to likers, and bundling for people, I think that would be your next area of concern. Those are more selling tactics, and it's kind of hard to, I don't know what you're doing. So, in a closet review, it's kind of hard to go over those things. But I do have a lot of videos on all of those strategies. I would encourage you to check those out. And see what you think, because I think that those could really impact your sales as well. Poshmark is work. It's different than eBay. But I definitely think that you can excel on here. You just need to think about it a little bit differently, have a little bit of a different perspective, and just tweak a little bit what you're doing. And I think you'll do great. Thank you so much for purchasing a closet review. I really hope that this was helpful for you. I really hope that you can make some of these tweaks and get some sales out of it. And for those that are watching at home, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful for you as well to kind of take some of these things and apply it to your closet. And if you'd like a closet review, check out my Etsy store. Go ahead and like this video on your way out. Leave me a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.